So now that I have both of my lashes on, I'm going to finish the look with my lips. So up close, these lashes are a little bit scary. They definitely are not the best fit for my eye, but a lot of times with theater too, you're just gonna get like stock lashes that are gonna be there or ones that are gonna be ordered. So you do kind of have to like learn how to make things work. But usually you just need something to kind of help somebody's eyes pop out a little bit more. My eyeliner on this side got a little bit thicker than what I would have wanted, but sometimes that's what happens, right? That's showbiz, right, y'all? So the last thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna do lips. I'm gonna go with a red lip just because that's like the classic like 1940s look. You still see it a lot in the 50s too, and I also think that on stage a lot of times people want to see like that classic red lip. I think the easiest way to achieve that, definitely using some kind of a lip liner first. I have really thin lips, so for me I usually have to like kind of exaggerate the shape a little bit. Luckily in these two time periods lip shapes were pretty normal. It's nothing crazy like the 1920s or even like the 30s was. It's a little bit more of just like a regular lip shape as we kind of like move forward in time now. But I am going to go with a red. I think for stage it's really important to get something that is more long wear. So I personally have a lip stain that I'm going to use. A lot of times though you're not given those with theater. Those aren't in the Ben Nye kits that we're using. So if you do have something like that and you need it to last, you can actually like powder it down with your face powder. I usually like to do that by holding like a tissue over my lipstick once it's applied, and then I use a sponge or a brush and I kind of powder over that, and that actually kind of sets it in place. Otherwise, it might be smeared around, or if you have to like talk on stage or kiss or eat or drink or whatever, you could be transferring that to somebody, and wardrobe people may not want to be dealing with that if it gets on costumes either, right? So I think it's a good idea if you can to get a lip stain or get something that's going to dry down matte. Usually matte things are going to last a lot longer and they're not going to transfer as easily. Are they always going to be super comfortable to wear? No. So it's really important that you do have some kind of moisture on your lips beforehand. If you have like too much chapstick or moisturizer on, sometimes the lip stains don't want to set correctly. So I think it's a good idea to do that maybe when you start your makeup, and then by the time you put it on, it's usually set in a little bit. Just like with any kind of like primer or moisturizer, you just want to give it time to kind of set in. So the first thing I always like to do is I like to line my lips, and I actually fill in my entire lip with lip liner. Just because I feel like that also kind of helps the lipstick stay longer, because in my head I'm like, well, if I at least have the lip liner on, then if all my lipstick wears off, I have something, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I usually start with my upper lip. I don't think it matters which lip you start with. As far as like having a lip liner for every single lipstick you own, I don't think it's necessary. Me personally, I have a red one, I have more of like a plum, like a deeper one, and then I have like a nude kind of pink, and I can kind of make that work for like everything. So I don't necessarily think like actors need to have 1,000, you need to have one personally in your makeup kit for other people. I think it's good to just have like those kind of 3 like variations, and then if you ever need like a super specialized color, they do make tons of things like that now. So you can buy that. And then on that note too, really quick, you just want to make sure if you are doing like a specialized lip color, you want to make sure that it's something safe to use on lips, because a lot of times what can be used on eyes or other parts of the face and vice versa aren't necessarily lip safe, I mean. So like if I need, like you see this a lot with like blues, so if somebody needs like a blue lipstick or something, what is safe as an eyeliner for your eye might not actually work as a lip liner for your lips. So they may look like they're the exact same product. Some brands like Krylon, we package ours the exact same way, but you always need to pay attention to packaging, right? Because like on our boxes it says like this color and this color, these are not safe to use on the lips. It's not recommended. I don't think that you're going to like, you know, have any great harm come to you if you do that, but just know that it is technically not approved to be used in those places. So you always want to watch that, especially, you know, allergies are something to be really conscious of. So that's just one more thing to always kind of keep in the back of your head. I think now with how makeup is, we have so many more options. So there really isn't a problem finding any color that you need, but it's definitely something that you want to be aware of and kind of keep in the back of your head. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my lip liner, and then we'll put on lipstick and we'll be complete. So as far as lip liner goes, like I said, I feel like I end up starting with my upper lip. I don't think it really matters which one you start with, but you just want to trace around the whole thing, and then I'll actually like fill in all of it. So for me, because I do have smaller lips, a lot of times I will kind of like exaggerate the shape a little bit, but not everybody is going to have to do that. And so first I usually just like trace around, that's the look, right? Usually I just trace around my lip, and then I'll go back and fill everything in. So I kind of have my upper lip figured out here, and then I can do the bottom, And you can see sometimes it will smear around. But I will usually go in and kind of like touch that back up with like a little bit of like that same highlight eyeshadow, because sometimes it just like depends on like how like moisturized or creamy your skin might be. Sometimes things like that will kind of bleed and run. So once I'm at this point, then I go back in and I fill it all in. If your lips are not like very moisturized, this may not always work on everybody, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. If somebody has dry lips, you may want to like urge them before a show or whatever you're doing, like to start like using like a chapstick or like a moisturizer. You can use like Vaseline. I use Aquaphor on mine. Just because if they have to constantly be putting lipstick on and off, especially if you do end up getting them like a lip stain or something, it's really going to dry their lips out even more. So they really need to make sure that like the same way they're taking care of their face, you need to take care of your lips the same way. Because trying to do something like this on lips that are dry does not always work out that well. And again, my lips are pretty small, so I end up having to kind of draw them a little bit bigger. You don't want to go crazy though, because they can get out of hand really easily, but sometimes I just have to exaggerate them a little bit and to get them even, because my lips are not even. And so I know some people that will just use lip liner as lipstick, and that is perfectly fine. I usually like to do both just with like the extra security, but you could certainly just use a lip liner too. Okay, so once you're at a point like this, you can kind of take your regular lipstick, or you can take your stain and you're going to put it over it. Lip gloss on stage is not my favorite thing. I think it can look good for like photos and like in film and stuff when maybe you're not wearing it as long, but when you're on stage I feel like after a while it just gets kind of like tacky, and the glossiness sometimes when it hits the light can get a little bit weird. So I usually don't use a lip gloss on stage. Sometimes you might have shows that call for that, but me personally I try to keep it like as matte as possible. So I'm just going to grab my lip stain and apply this over it and we will be good to go.